Okay, so Diablo 4 is one of the most highly anticipated games of this year. It's supposed to be an open world RPG that you can play from a top down perspective, or you can view it from a top down perspective. And yeah, I mean, people have nothing but good things to say about it prior to its release. It looks more realistic than Diablo 3, which came out back in 2012, because Diablo 3 looked more like a video game. This game, in terms of its gameplay, it looks more realistic because the lighting's different, has a much darker tone and atmosphere and all that stuff. The gameplay is very fast paced, and those were all things that a lot of people praised about it. And Activision Blizzard definitely needs this game to they need this game to be successful because of all the controversy and drama and all the other BS that they had to deal with this past year regarding, workplace, harassment and, all this bad press that, Blizzard Entertainment was getting this past year. They need Diablo 4 to be a hit and to be a success, but it seems like they're not really getting off on good footing in relation to just that, because once again, Blizzard Entertainment finds themselves on the receiving end of bad press, because a lot of people are unhappy about the fact that microtransactions are going to be included in Diablo 4, and what's even more is that the microtransactions and the whole monetization aspect of the game is going to be something that might turn people off to it, because it was said that some of the prices of the microtransaction will cost more than Overwatch 2 skins. And if that's the case, then it really makes you wonder, how is this going to affect the overall sales of Diablo 4? Diablo 3, even though it was very popular when it came out, and for the most part, it was one of the best RPGs for the teens decade, it was not quite as popular as Diablo 2. Diablo 2 had a much darker tone and atmosphere. And mind you, the original Diablo 2 game came out back in 2000. And to this day, it's considered to be one of the greatest RPGs of all time. Now, with Diablo 4, this has the potential to be one of the greatest RPGs of 2023, because for the most part, it doesn't really have any competition in relation to that genre, at least not that I know of. Some people may have different opinions on the whole matter, but honestly, you would think, Blizzard Entertainment would have learned from other companies like Sony, with Gran Turismo 7, that microtransactions, especially heavy inclusions of that, is not a good idea. Nintendo is basically they're basically looking at a lawsuit from this guy whose son bought $170 worth of microtransactions from playing Mario Kart World, and that's a game that was free to play. Capcom learned their lesson with microtransactions a long time ago with the Tekken versus Street Fighter game that came out back in 2012, even though them doing microtransactions back then wasn't as bad as what we're getting in this day and age. For the most part, people don't want to pay for They don't want to pay extra for content that's already in the game, for loot boxes and all that stuff, because a lot of that seems really unreasonable. It turns people off. And I honestly feel like the only thing that people should pay for is DLC, because it's optional. They can, they can make progress without it. They can have fun with certain games without, DLC. Microtransactions, on the other hand, it kind of it influences gambling and stuff like that. And that's also something that has been subjected to controversy as well. But since, Diablo 4 is mainly targeted towards adults, the adults know what they're doing. It's not like, you have children using their parents' credit cards and they're making these transactions and all that stuff. But either way, all the other Diablo games really didn't feature microtransactions, so why should Diablo 4 have that? That's a question I'm pretty sure a lot of people have, and I do think that's something that may end up negatively affecting the overall quality of the game. But for Blizzard Entertainment's sakes, the gameplay and everything else featured in Diablo 4 better be well worth the microtransactions that's included in the game.